Thank you, Peter. Yes, we are here with a very happy victor of the round. That is Jan Nepomniachtchi after an incredible victory against the surging Alireza. First of all, tell us your thoughts about this game.
Well, it feels good to finally win some game in classical chess, yeah, because last one, I guess, was in September.
Norway chess?
In September, yeah. So it's of course pleasing, and yeah, the end game. I can say I became a big expert in this queen against rook and knight end games. Yeah, all sorts of these end games. Yeah, now so I dedicated quite some time, playing, and then quite some time studying.
Well, so, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Now it's,
yeah, okay. Here at least,
nice win.
Yeah, thanks.
Take us through the game. He started off with this bishop's opening. Did he surprise you with this at all? Or?
No, not really. So bishop's opening is probably the only sensible way to avoid Petrov, unless not playing e4 at all. I believe it's more or less known, but he came up with an interesting plan. Normally white just castles here, but okay, knight f1 is a nice idea, yeah, just to gain some time, yes. So you're using the fact that okay, f1 square is still valid.
Right.
Yeah, this was just very curious to me. And here, well, I couldn't, remember any lines, so that's why I just decided to play out of common sense. So bishop f4 and queen b8 sometimes is more or less normal plan. But yeah, here after h3, well, I wasn't sure, so I could also go for something like g5 and then try to maneuver with my knights. But I also thought like okay, rook e8 won't harm. Probably rook e8 is not such a good move in these positions, as far as I know. But here, I couldn't resist to play. So sometimes I can push e3.
At least from a practical
and
perspective,
here,
it's a normal move.
Yeah, but sometimes you need rook on f8 to push f5. Yeah, but in some future. But this future,
And he started playing some weird moves, and now you.
Well, what he did was, quite interesting. So, at first glance, it looks like white is going to lose by force. But more time I spent, harder it was to understand what's my plan. So here, I think this is quite principle. This is also principle. And okay, takes. Okay, here of course knight f4 was very interesting. So knight f4, bishop b7, because I believe if bishop e4, then probably bishop d5 is winning. Like maybe something else. But
this was the move that Gary actually, when he came to the studio, proposed as well.
Yeah, but okay, this position is quite curious. This is surely some very nice compensation, but I couldn't see anything forced, and.
So if you take, he covers.
Yeah, if I take, I probably lose. So that's why I thought maybe bishop f4 and take on b2. But here something like queen f1, so this wasn't so obvious. Yeah, so probably if you play with some nice precision, even computer-like, I would say yeah, you find something like bishop f4. But I mean, it never seemed obvious to me. So that's why I came up with this bishop d5, so more or less controllable. Knight d5. So here. Well, I didn't really know what to do, so queen h4, queen g5, so I go...
Queen g5 felt like the right
Yeah,
way.
c4, but yeah, here, of course I could go for knight f4, which would be like 10 times more logical, but, I wasn't sure about how good is this position for me. Queen e2, and yeah, it should be obviously good, but, it looks like, I don't know, fortress, let's say, yeah, so that's why I
don't have a way to break. At least not.
Okay, I couldn't find. So I thought like, okay, it's very smart to keep the knights, because initially I just wondered that here I can, I wanted to play e3, and f takes e3, knight f4, and I thought that's very smart. Also h4 here is good for computer, but here I generally wasn't happy about this move, so white obviously escapes. But some computer brilliance also here. So
and then
queen
the game
d3
got a bit wild.
Well, I just couldn't understand what's going on, sir.
Okay, the computer was saying something like queen e2.
Yeah, queen e2 is the move I didn't like, because e3 I just completely missed king d1 here. Yeah, that's probably was the thing I missed, and that's quite obvious, but not for me.
I don't know how
not for
obvious,
me.
Yeah, it
not
was
for me.
For Alireza. Did you speak about the game with him?
Just very, very briefly.
Got it. And then he played this queen to b3.
Well,
did you feel like you're kind of slowly getting back into the game?
I had no idea. So here, clearly the pawn is a pawn, and all the endgames are somewhat decent, and also he has this 97 ideas, so I wasn't sure about, this bishop e3, queen h5, so where do I find this compensation for an exchange? So probably this part wasn't that bright by me, but here I believe that suddenly the position is not so clear. So queen g4. Okay, rook e6 and rook f6, very sound maneuver. Probably here it doesn't work, that great, but I was literally short on time already, and I couldn't see if e3 move is so smart. Yeah, so I didn't really like my position.
Right.
So rook e6, I mainly was concerned about knight c3, bringing the knight to d5. It's very sound, so probably I should push something like e3 and just open things and see what happens. But yeah, clearly white is in driver's seat here. But king d1, I think he started making some not the optimal moves. Yeah, so here after rook f6, I finally got some idea. Rook e1. So here, it was never led to blunder, and to blunder something like knight e7. But here, wow, Compi is so happy. Even here it says king f8. Yeah? King f8. Okay, but that's just too much for me. Yeah.
And what after taking?
Okay, of course e3, of course, yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Who could? But by the way, I calculated something like this, yeah. But okay, I just saw 97 and I thought, okay, that's too much for me.
Engine stuff.
Yeah, and here, well, I mean, given the time factor, I think we didn't play that badly. But I think now black is slightly pressing, so it should be analyzed. But I thought like I'm doing some sensible things.
Once you got your knight all the way to f3, it already felt like you're gaining full control of the game.
Yeah, here he could play knight d5, so this...
Were you going to repeat?
No, I was going to repeat once, and then probably, okay, I would pass the time control. So probably I would do something like rook e6, and maybe here rook h6, I don't know. But maybe that's not so smart. But, of course, knight d5 was the move, but after knight d1, I mean, okay, I was obviously shocked.
A bit too passive.
Yeah, and here, well, rook takes h3 was maybe even better, but I thought like, all right, I'm winning an exchange at last something.
Get some. You were down 1 pawn the whole game. Now at least you get
it was
advantage.
Was nice to get some, revenge.
Psychologically, yeah.
Yeah, so d5.
c5.
So here I'm not so sure. Bishop e5. Okay, c5. Probably that was the position I was aiming for, but I couldn't just evaluate it. So. I mean, obviously, I should be doing very nicely, but some positions can arise which are really hard to evaluate. So, let's say if I just take on h3 here, okay, something like king b1, and then if he plays calmly, like knight to c3 and d6, probably he always will have some counterplay. So I decided to clear.
You spent like 10 minutes or so around at this point, and what was the concrete variation that you calculated?
I didn't calculate anything. Yeah, I was just choosing in between the lines I have seen, before. So, okay, this rook takes f2. I wasn't sure about this endgame. So queen f4, but, okay, e3 is not so good because queen e3 and b3 and white escapes. So queen f4 is something I wanted to play. But then, okay, But then I at last came up with some brilliancy.
There we go.
So I really wanted to make this line work. I mean, here I wanted to play rook f3, queen e4, rook f2, but here, of course, he can play king b1. So he's not obliged to take on f3. So that's why I was very happy when I found this, intermediate move, intermezzo. Yeah, knight e4 was a little bit of panic, but in my opinion, okay, queen e4, rook f2, king d1 is probably the only one. But this looks so ugly for white. I don't really believe this works, but yeah, if it works.
And probably he has to find like rook e2 or
okay, if it works, then it works. So what can I do? But I was like very optimistic about this position. But yeah, okay, that's some brilliancy.
And he definitely felt quite pressured at this point.
This is very nice practical chance, I would say. So takes f5. I actually thought it should be closer to a draw, but move per move, it's not so easy to make things work. Yes, so rook e2, of course, I think the move. Queen c5, and here rook d2. So I wasn't sure about this position. So perhaps I should, if I want to fight for something, I play like this.
Get a king to d8, yeah.
And this position, somehow it seemed to me that, okay, white will, in some miraculous way, bring knight to, I don't know, f7 or b7 or e6, but now it seems like, okay, at least now I see the evolution. So probably knight is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this, king d3, f4, I have, a lot of different checks, like queen g3 to set up some traps on all the way. Yes, yeah, so king c2 was maybe more precise. At king d2, yeah, it's probably losing moves. So f3, let's say d6. Maybe check, maybe queen takes h3. So I thought like this position will rise, and probably I will still have some good winning chances. But like I wasn't really sure about the evolution. So maybe white is in time to build a fortress. Maybe not. But at that point, it's not my business actually.
Jan, a huge victory for you with the black pieces against probably the hottest prospect out there right now. What does this victory mean to you?
It's nice to play, a game with a good result, but I don't think it means anything special. Just I'm, not so happy about the quality once again. But yeah, it was a big mess, so at least it was fun.
Thank you very much for joining us. Keep the energy up, and we'll see you in the next few rounds.
Thank you.